Hackett. Eighth graders may know her as Miss Duval, but she recently got married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What do you teach?
I teach 7th grade social studies.
What inspired you to become a teacher?
Well, I actually didn't want to be a teacher when I first went to college, and I was going into criminal justice instead. And then after my first semester in college, I decided that I didn't like it and I wanted to go into teaching instead because I have always loved history, and when I was little I wanted to be an archaeologist. So I thought if I could combine my love for history and for kids and learning, that would be the perfect job. So.
What would be your motto as a teacher?
As a teacher, I think my motto would be something along the lines of like, failure is the best way to learn, because me myself, I'm kind of a perfectionist and I like to do things like right the first time, but I've learned through the years that not being good at everything is the best way to learn, because by making mistakes, that's when you grow the most. So I would tell kids that, not always getting an A or doing everything exactly right is an okay thing to do, especially in middle school. That's when you make the most mistakes. So.
What do you think would be the most important, like, non-education related skill that you would have to be a teacher?
I think it's still related to education, but I think the most important skill is probably being flexible, because your lessons don't always go as planned, and most likely, actually, they never really go as planned. You think it's gonna last 5 minutes and then it takes an hour, or you think it's gonna take an hour and only last 5 minutes, and so just being flexible and having a plan B, those are really important for teaching, I think.
What is one goal you have for this school year?
This year, personally for me, my goal was to create more relationships with kids and to be more available to kids and like there to listen for them. And not that I didn't try to do that last year, but this year I'm really going out of my way to be present and let kids know that I'm here and that they can come talk to me. And so far it's been going pretty good.
What is your greatest pet peeve as a teacher?
There's so many. No, just kidding. Let's see. My biggest pet peeve. Can I pick two?
Sure.
Okay. My biggest pet peeve is probably when kids don't turn in their work, because then it takes me forever to try and get them to turn it in, and if they don't turn it in, then it's like, what do I do now? And then the other one is when people take my pencils. I know that is like a small thing, but it just drives me crazy. So, yes, those two things.
What do you like most about teaching?
My favorite thing about teaching is probably when I'm teaching in the middle of class and all of a sudden, like, I know kids like get it, or they really like what we're talking about, because like everybody's hands are in the air and not just like the typical 5 kids that always have the answer to stuff. I like when everybody is participating and is excited about what we're learning.
What is your least favorite thing about teaching?
Grading. I hate grading. But I mean, you have to do it, so it's part of the job, but I hate grading.
Do you have any advice for middle schoolers?
My advice for middle school would be just to not take it so seriously. I know that, there's a lot going on in middle school, and it seems like, things can be the end of the world because it's just what's going on right now, but in the grand scheme of things, middle school is just a drop in the bucket, and, I know it's hard for middle schoolers to think that way, but just not to get too upset over small things that don't matter as much. Just worry about, having good friends that are gonna follow you into high school and trying your best, and that's really all that matters.
Do you have any advice for middle schoolers going into high school?
I think my advice would probably be the same as what I had just said, but I might add to it to just try new things, because when I was in school, I did volleyball in middle school and show choir, and that was basically it. But when I got to high school, I tried tennis, and it became one of my favorite sports, and I still play tennis all the time with my husband, and we both love it. But I never tried it in middle school, and so I think even if you don't try it in middle school, it's still important to try new things, even though it might seem kind of like you're late to the party. So.